Yes, so welcome back once again, guys. We'll be back. Just in case you were with us for the previous episode, I want to welcome you back. And just in case it's your first time here, you are so welcome. Yes, please join the family. Do subscribe, like, comment, and also share with everyone out there. Guys, these are very important things. Yes, I'm back with Pastor Moses Nsubuga to continue enlightening us on prayer, more about prayer. Last week he talked about quality prayer, and we are going deeper. We're going to another step of prayer, going deeper to take out all that, just to take out, what has been his experience like. How has he nurtured his prayer life? So welcome. Yes, so Pastor, we'll be back once again.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Yeah,
You're welcome.
I understand you guys are busy. So I want to quickly go into the point, into everything, because I know there are a lot of things we are learning from this prayer episode. Yes, so I want to start with this question. How have you nurtured your prayer life? Did it come from your childhood? Did it come from somewhere? How have you nurtured this prayer life? Because I understand as Christians, we would want to come from a certain place of prayer and going to that place of maybe the knocking. I remember in the previous episode, you talked about those three dimensions: asking, seeking, and knocking. So how can a Christian move from that place? You tell us about how you are able to move from how you have nurtured your prayer life, maybe for someone out there who desires to also nurture their prayer life.
Okay, so that's a good question. I started out after I gave my life to Christ. I started out just really doing asking. Yeah, so I would wake up in the morning and I would tell myself that I'm going to pray for 2 hours. And I would pray while even looking at my watch. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. I have 1 hour and a half to go. Shele kazata. Push. Okay, 1 hour to go. Jele kasata.
And then people who look at their watches when you're praying.
Push another hour. Yeah, until I was done. And then on dot, or 2 minutes before that dot, I'm like, hallelujah, thank God. Yeah. And then I would come back and do the same thing. Come back and do the same thing. There's discipline in that. Yeah. Because of course because you're a new believer, there are things you will feel. Just even the whole idea of I pray 2 hours a day. Yeah. Because
victory.
Yeah, I grew up in my spiritual walk. I grew up around people who are like hungry. Yeah, and I think it's important for every believer who is there to surround yourself with people who are hungry. It doesn't matter whether they are mature. I feel like sometimes mature Christians are satisfied, so they're not hungry. So sometimes I actually don't want to be around them.
That's a point right there.
Yes, because they're not hungry.
We tend to relax because you've grown too much and you've been in the Lord for so long.
Right. So you'll be shocked how many pastors will tell you when did they last pray 2 hours a day. And this is a pastor. Yeah. 2 hours, just 2 hours in one day. You'll be shocked. And that's what I'm talking about. Mature Christians and are satisfied. So surround yourself with people who are hungry. Like for me, I don't care how young you are, etc. If you're hungry, I want you to be around me, because it rubs off. So that's what happened. Is that I had D-Rain. He was like my person we walked with in this walk of faith. So we told ourselves, you wake up, you wake me up. I wake up, I wake you up. And we'd wake up and do 2 hours. So whichever way we did it, I would be behind that container, he would be elsewhere. But whichever way we did it, he would do it on his own, I would do it on my own. And yes, whichever qualities that meant, at least we would do it. And that's what I want to tell everyone. Yeah, regardless of whether it's quality or not quality, you're still better than someone who is not doing it. Someone who is saying, I cannot have quality prayer right now, so let me first let me wait until I get. Let me tell you, you will never get to a place where you will get everything perfect for you to have quality prayer. There are things, of course, you can do to create the atmosphere, but when you can't have the atmosphere, do not wait for the atmosphere.
Create.
You create it right there. Yeah. So I would just do that. Yeah. 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. But that grew. And that grew into something that was quality. Yeah, into all those 3 levels. It grew there, but it grew with the discipline of just keeping myself on time. Yeah, so that's important. You tell yourself, I'm going to pray for this time, and you keep that time. And you start at that particular time, you end at a particular time. Yes, you can go further, yeah, but you do not end before.
Yeah, before that time.
No. That's a problem. And again, with you want to call it. I don't want to really say Christians, but again, let's use the term Christians, and then this other one to be Christ-likeness. Yeah, I found that when you discipline yourself like that, then your prayer life begins to have results. Yeah, because it's a particular time. So what am I saying is that it's a process of the building. You know, when you're just starting to build anything, Maureen, it doesn't look so good. But coming back to it every single day, doing the same thing, I tell you, for any person, even for you yourself, your prayer changes. You before you were saying sha pa 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 sha pa 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 pa, then that is no longer what you rindoste le kama sinde ye kama landoste lo costa. So even your tongues begin to change, but also just your words to God. Yeah, before you are simply speaking the same things unthought through. You're not even thinking about what you're speaking. Yeah, but now you begin to engage your mind. You begin to engage your heart. What you're praying about, you're feeling, you're thinking about, and so it takes over you. But again, that doesn't come by simply just, so you discipline yourself, you cut out a particular time and tell yourself, this time is going to be prayer. But the main thing here, Maureen, is discipline with consistency.
Discipline and consistency.
Yeah,
wow.
Without consistency, this is where many Christians have never reached certain places, and they will never. Yeah, and I don't mean to condemn, I don't mean to judge, but without discipline and consistency in a person's prayer, there are certain places that are only waiting for you to do it the same way for 1 year. Just do it like that, the same way for 1 year, and see. There are certain prayers. And I think it's a question in there, prayers that have not been answered. But the certain prayers, Maureen, that are telling you, you do the same thing you've done today for the next 1 year, the same way, and watch this space. Yeah, and I'm just telling anyone here, even if it's just 30 minutes, just do that same thing for 1 year, watch this space. Yeah.
Consistency. Well, I love that fact of consistency and discipline. So everybody out there who wants to grow their prayer life, please take note of those 2 things: consistency and discipline. Yeah, I know you may start something, then you get an excuse, but make sure you be consistent to whatever you have started. Yes. So, Pastor, I wanted to ask you a question, because I think in either the previous episode you talked about how how your mother played a role. Yeah, is there something like the prayers of, because sometimes we say the prayers of my mom or the prayers of my dad, do these things work? Like if maybe your parent or your guardian has had a certain prayer life, does this rub onto you? Or somehow what they have been doing, can it pass on to you? And what role can parents play to grow the prayer life of the children or the young generation?
Okay, so when I say my mom is my mentor or role model in prayer, it's because before I became a Christian, this is something that she did. Yeah, and I was telling my wife, my mom would come and slap us sleeping. You know, she finds you sleeping in prayer, because she would get us out of bed. We are kids, we are young, yeah. She'd get us out of bed, so you're still dozing, grumbling, complaining, and then you come and then you'll begin to lie down and sleep. The next thing you hear is a slap. And
Pastor, you're saying something that is also common. I remember my mom, she would not necessarily say, but she tells you to stand and you feel so tired.
Yeah.
You're sleepy as a child.
Yeah. So for us, it was two things: slap or water. Yeah, you did standing. I wish I was told to do standing. It was slap or water.
Okay.
So I didn't understand her then, and I'm not encouraging any parent to do that. I don't think I would do that to my son, but it helped. It helped me to understand how she valued prayer, how she valued her relationship with God. That regardless of how you will feel, for her in her depth is that I am doing this for God. And I keep saying, right there, she didn't know what she was doing, but she was modeling a man of prayer. She was modeling a discipline in my life. She was, training a man of God. She didn't know. But as she did the slapping, did the pouring of the water, she was raising up a man of God. She never wanted me to slumber in prayer. And this is where many Christians, they never get into the deeper things.
Prayer,
they slumber in prayer. God is beginning to communicate. The enemy gives you slumber. It's the same thing that happens to the disciples of Jesus. He takes them to the deeper place. And he tells them, you can't you even just tally another hour?
Longer.
It's like you can't tally for another hour. Like, guys, tally in prayer. Now, don't slumber in prayer, because you'd find them slumbering and you would wake them up. So I don't know what the kind of waking up they were getting from Jesus. I think it was not the kind of our parents. But so we need to get to a place where we tally in prayer. We discipline ourselves not to slumber in prayer. I've lost track of the question.
The question is basically, how did the prayers of maybe did Mommy lay a foundation in nurturing that journey? Okay,
so that's where it starts. When I go to Teen Challenge in the rehabilitation center, I pick up on a strong thing with prayer. Like, I come back home, and I think at that time I was praying from latest was 2 a.m. And for me, guys, look here, I am still caught at a place of where it's not prayer, if it's not from 2 a.m. or to 6 a.m. It's not prayer, forget it. So I'm still caught at a place where it's still quantity, but there's quality in the quantity. Now I have matured in prayer, but for me still, I want longer. I want longer. Because I had the time. You spent a whole year in rehabilitation. What else do you do in rehabilitation besides just the fact that you really just spend a day doing this and that, and then in the night you have enough time to pray. So that's really much what I used to do with that. So when I come back home, I'm doing the same thing, and then I realize, okay, it can't work for this woman, because I was pushing my mother. I would wake up, I'm praying, and then she would come and join me, and then I tally for the next 2 hours, and for me now I've started. I've just started 2 hours. Man, this thing, it gets to a point where it's even now more fun. And then my mom is like, okay, now me, I'm done. I'm like, Mommy, let's push. So she did that up to some point, and then I said to judge her. And I think this is where also it's important to realize that sometimes because you're on fire, it's easy to judge the people that are not. Else. So no, it's not correct. This is a woman who has been a Christian for 15, 20 years. I cannot use my 1 year fire to to judge someone who has been doing this every day for
Every
15 years. And I tell you, my mom prays every single day. Every single day, whether she's sick or she's not sick. I remember times I would go to the hospital when she's been admitted. And as soon as I would get there, she's like, no, don't pray for me. You go and pray for that person in that bed. You pray for that person in that bed. Sometimes I would find her in hospitals praying for people. She's sick. Yeah. And then if I ever sleep there, to just accompany her in the morning at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. I think these days she does, I think 4 or 5. She still wakes up religiously like that. And she does it. So she has results in that place. So I think for me, for every parent who is there, if it's working with you, it's going to work with your child. Then you also have to engage them. Like one thing I do right now with my son, at his level, prayer is a song. So we have a prayer song we sing every morning when he wakes up. So I begin to draw the build the discipline right there. Like we do not eat, we do not do anything, don't shower, we don't do anything until we have prayed. Yeah, wow. So the moment he wakes up like this, we tell him, okay, let's kneel down, and then we do this prayer. So sometimes we want, mommy, what? I tell him, no, it's past prayer and then other things. So you learn to engage your child like that. Of course, that notion, the prayer of a mother, I don't want to say it's not there. I think it's there, but it's not everything. Yeah, it's really not everything. So whether your mother is praying for you or she's not praying for you, or your father is praying for you, or they are not praying for you, yeah, I think it's really also going to come down to what you're doing. Yeah, though certain times you know that when someone is holding in prayer, so it doesn't really have to be a parent per se, but if you can just have someone holding you up in prayer, someone praying with you. And this is why in our church we do prayer chains, so that people can hold you in prayer. Sometimes you're weak and you need someone to pray strong for you. Yeah, and sometimes I am telling you, my mother, for me, she's like one of those people that hold me up in prayer and fasting. So if it's your mother, well and good. If it's not, then find someone that you're going to decide that, what, you hold me up in prayer.
Are they the ones that are called the prayer partner?
Oh yeah. So in our church we do it a bit different. So you have 3 people that you're praying with. You're actually a group of 3 people. Yeah. So for some of these people, it's not like you even just went and sat them down and then you ask them, please hold. Especially like for parents, that's why it's really good when it's a parent, because for a parent who is a godly parent, you don't have to remind them to pray for their child. They are literally doing it all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, they are praying for you. They are like, God, they are on their knees. Yeah, I remember, when I became a pastor, like, oh my goodness, my mom, it's like the devil had woken up in her house. Yeah, God, now my son cannot fall. Yeah. Yeah, before, of course, she was praying that, I can, stay away from drugs, etc. But now she's like, wait a minute. Now he's a pastor. So she's like, no, he cannot fall. He cannot stumble. He cannot slumber. Like, things must work together for him. And then, so she just keeps having this burden on her heart. Yeah, but I feel like even for spiritual parents, because I found myself where, like, there are times when I have a burden to pray for you, Maureen. Yeah, and I mean it. Yeah, not just for this interview, but I just get the burden because I'm your spiritual father, and then I begin to intercede for you. Yeah, so you didn't have to make a contract with me. Yeah, to hold you up in prayer, but because you're undercovering, God just puts it on my heart. Yeah, but there are people who have also come to you and they're like, God just gave me a burden.
Yeah, God laid something, right? To pray for you.
Right. So they can be those structured ones, like we do in our church, the prayer chains, but then also they can be those other people who, they are like authorities in your life, and God just keeps putting a burden on their hearts to hold you up in prayer. Yeah, and then if you have also spiritual parents that are really like your parents and they're praying for you, boom. But it's not everything. It's overrated in some sense, but it's not. So it's important to understand it's not everything. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for that.